Imagine you have a different boxes to store your clothes, books, and food. In Python, data types decide what goes in the box, and variables gives each box a name. Can you mixing clothes, books, and food in some same box? I hope you can. That's why data type is important in programming. So let's get this together. Welcome to this channel. Let's use data type and variable in Python accurately in this video. First, let's see what is data type. Data type is a category or type of data that tells Python what kind of value you are working with. Simply is a kind of data that is stored in a variable or that you are working with in your program. So let's see the type of built-in data type we found in Python. The data type we found in Python are in different categories. So each category contain their data type. Example of number categories is contain integer, float, and complex. Sequence, we found string type, list data type, or tuple data type. Where the category of Boolean, we found bool, where there is true or false values. But today I need just to point on 5 data type that almost used in by beginners in Python programming, that are integers, float, complex, string, and boolean. Let's start from first, which is integer. Let's go in Virtual Studio Code and search for VS Code. Open it. Let's create a new file here. Click here, write the name of file. Now we can simply write our first code here on code editor. Let's say, for example, of age is equal to 25. So now, guys, the integer that is the whole number but contain positive and negative values. For example, it should be age. An example should be quantity, which is equal to 100, for example, kilograms. For example, should be number of people, where people are the thousands. Now in Python, we can check the type of our values or a variable to see what is that type of value or any variable. So simply we need to use type function. Let's check this type of this variable, like age. Simply we write print. Then we add parentheses, we write type of function, and we need to pass a value in this parentheses, or we can pass a variable. Let's see, try to pass 25. Then click here on run. Now you see the result, the type is simply the integer. Let's try to pass a variable, and we see how we can. Simply we write type function, and parentheses let pass like quantity, and you simply click again to run. Now you see also is an integer type. Now let's jump to float type. On float values, we can say like school fees. We can say like school fees, which can be 120, for example, $0.5. We can say like GDP, can be like 11 million, 0.5, and so on. So simply floating data type, these are data type which hold the values of decimal values but contain negative and positive numbers. Let's try to check the type of this, if it is a float as Python showed us. Let's write here clear this or this, and we come here, we write print as we have done. By using type function, you can check the type of data we have. Let's say we're gonna pass fee, as you have seen. Let's try to run this. Yeah, you look, now it is float. Okay, cool. Let's go on complex numbers. So the complex numbers that are most used by the engineers, like in electricity, where they need to write in the form of impedance. Like for example, let's say we are going to see in term of complex number, let's say z equal to 4 plus let's say plus 5j. Now you see this first part of 4 is real part, the second part is imaginal part. Let's try to pass this one in type of function to check if it is also a complex. Let's select this and simply write print, and we need to add a type function, and let's paste that number. Let's make this comment. Yeah, now we can clear here and click here on run. Now you see the type is complex. From this value we have here. Then let's get string. So string is the combination of different characters or numbers that form a text. So example of string data that are the name, can be the password, can be the email, can be mostly used as the ID of any customer or a patient in database. So let's take example of name, which is let's make it equal to odd pi. So the string is closed in this double quote. Also you can use a single quote, no problem, is the same. So let's try to write, let's say, the email, which is equal to, let's say, oddpi@gmail.com @gmail.com. Now you see, you can say the password or this data is type of string. Now let's look at the type of this one. Let's make this one comment and simply type print by using our function, which is type. We can see the data type of this email. Let's say, for example, it's email. Then you click here on run. Now you look is simply a string. Now we can also pass, let's do this one. We can also pass as a string as value, not a variable. Let's make it like this. Then we can say odd pi. Now let's see if it is also a string. Now you get it here. Now string, we can make it concatenate by adding two strings, but we can't perform any arithmetic operation like multiplication and subtraction, except addition, and the addition of two strings is a concatenation. Let's take a quick example. Let's take, for example, we need to add, for example, this odd pair, and we need to add this one, let's say odd, and we need it to add with the pi. Now look, let's click on run. Now you see it is odd pi. Then if you want, you can put the space here and run again. I see odd pi, it's work. Let's jump to number 5, which is Boolean. So the Boolean, it accepts only two values that are true and false. So Boolean also is called the bool in Python. So let's say is a student, So can you assign it true or false? Yes, is a student, or false. If we try to check the type of this one, so we need to make here this statement, we need to make it comment. Then let's try to check this type of this is a student. We need to write print and use our function which is type. Let's pass true, then we read all of this, then click on run. Wow, now you get it. It is Boolean. If you try to write, let's say it in a lowercase true, now it becomes an error. So we need to start with a capital letter. So the Boolean is the key basically used in decision, that is if or else if in Python. So let's quickly see the example or that cover or types we have seen above. Let's make this one comment. Then let's take a quick tour. This one. Then imagine you are filling out online registration form for a course. You are required to enter a name, age, fee, to say if you're a student, and you can enter your result of electrical engineer. So what I need simply to point in is in Python we don't need to declare a variable like other programming in C++, Java. We declare a variable, but in Python we don't need to declare a variable. Let's get the example. Let's say name, which is equal to, for example, let's use oddpy as I use in above example. Let's say we need to add age, so our age, let's say 25. So if it is integer, we don't add this double quote. Then let's add then, for example, is v, this type of 0.55. This is type of float value, let's say is student. Then you can say true or false. Let's say true is a student. We can add the electrical engineer result, let's say for plus 5. Okay, now we can use type function to see each one type of these values. Let's check for one. You can say print now there type function, and we pass this z, for example, and then we hit on run. So before you run this one, you can stop a video and you try to determine what type of this one before you run it. So that is it on a data type. Let's go on variable. We have already seen the variable in the above examples, like name. So if we take this type of data and we store it in this name can be age, fee, that is a variable. This is a student, is a variable, z is a variable. So variable, it is a reusable container used to store a data during a program running, which means it is temporary. If you need to store data permanently, you use a database or a file. Let's get started with variable. The example of variable can say age, which is equal to 25. This is a variable. Age is a variable. But we have seen more variables. What I need is simply to point on is the naming rules of variables. So the naming rules of variable, the first one is start with letter or underscore. The variable in Python are started by only letter or underscore. We can say like age is equal to 25. Now let's try to print this one, and you wanna see is its work, guys. If we try to hint on run, you see now it works 25. But if you start with let's say with 2, 3, now it shows the syntax error. Now the variable is only started by letter or can be started with underscore. The second one is the variable should contain letter, number, or underscore, which means there is no space allowed between two words made up the variable. If you need to say age of Peter, let's say age of Peter, age of Peter. Now you see we are not allowed to leave the space between age and of. That's why we add underscore. Peter 1, you can say Peter 1, there's Peter, more Peters, which is equal to 25. That is 1. So this is only what you can make a variable in a Python. We are not allowed to leave the variable like this. This is the syntax error. Yeah. The next one is a Python case sensitive, which means the uppercase and the lowercase are totally different. Let's say an example on case sensitive. So if we say age is equal to 27, it's equal to 70, then again we say age later is equal to 12. Now this is totally different because of these two elements. If you start with lower letter and later you use uppercase, it becomes a problem. Now this is totally different. Let's take an example. Let's try to print first age. Now we can print age. Now you look. Then if we try to write print age and you start with the uppercase letter, then if we try to run this one, let's clear this and to run this one, you can write Python and we write the name of this script .py and run. You see if there is something which we have, let's make this comment. Let's make this run again. Wow. Now you look these two results. The first one is 70, the second one is 12. You see, which means now the first age is 70, the second print statement shows it is 12. Okay. The next one I need to point on a string. We don't need to add this one double quote. I have pointed again. The last one I need to show you on the variable is simply how to print variables, the way you can use to print variables. Let's take, for example, the school fee. So fees is equal to 120.55. Let's get the first method, but you make this comment. We need to print this variable. The first techniques, we need to concatenate the variable with the other one by using the print method. Let's try to write print, and we need to export this fee. Let's say your school fees or school fees, simply school fees is now we need to write plus our variable, which is fee. The variable is not included in the double quote. In dollar, we need to add a plus again for double quote in dollar. Yeah. Now we can hint on run to check if it is working. Now we get error. The reason why we get this error is just we have seen that we only concatenate the string, then this is the float value. To handle this error, we need simply to convert this value of fee, which is have a data type of float, as you see here on the screen. we need to convert in a string by using typecast. Which function which used to convert this one into a string? We use a string function. Simply we need to add string function to convert this fee into a string. Now this fee was changed the data type into a string. Let's try to run this again. Yes, now you see the school fees is in dollars. Now you get the point. Okay, the second techniques, we can use separator. Which is comma. You can say print school fees is now we add comma, and then we put the variable, then again a comma, we add the double quotes, and we write for example in dollar. Then we can hint here run. Now you see the result. First one is this for this print text, and the second one, this is this for the second statement. Okay, let's get the techniques number 3, which is using f3. Now we can simply write print, then let's say for example before write school fees, we need to add here f, which is f string used to convert in this format. Let's say school fees is there. Then we add in the curly brace fee, the variable we contain it in the curly brace, and we can continue add what we need to add. Now you see this is the result. So after this, let's see the tricks and techniques of quick assignment of the variables in Python. Let's say you need to assign sleeve values on 3 variables like x and y. How we can do? Let's say we have x, we have a y, we have a z. We need to make it equal to first for 10, for example, 20, and also we need to make x and y which is equal to 0, for example. We can make x equal to y equal to z, which is equal to 0, for example. This is our techniques which is make quick multiple assignment in Python. That is it about the variable in Python. If you have any critique, you can put in comment. Any question, you can write it in the comment. And don't forget to subscribe, share this video, and hit on like button.